what's up guys? This is Bobo Jones here by the cloudy, overcast beach. And today I wanted to talk about whether or not this bike, the XR, is worth the money. Because obviously it's a very expensive bike. And, you know, you can't really get it used, and it's around 19,000 MSRP. So after taxes and everything, you're looking at around 20,000. If you get incentives and stuff, you know, maybe you could get it out the door for around 19,000. But either way, in the world of bikes, it's a lot of money. And so I just wanted to cover today whether or not I think it's worth the money. I think as the days and months go by, it's a little bit harder to argue that it's worth the money. There's a lot of good things coming out now with a lot of amazing technology, and for a lot less money than this is. One perfect example obviously is the FZ10 that just came out. Has traction control, has ABS, doesn't have everything like, you know, electronic suspension and real-time suspension and lean angle ABS. It has a quick shifter, I believe, but it doesn't have a down blipper, which is like one of the nicest things about this bike. But in general, you're getting a bike that is, you know, arguably just as fast as this, if not faster, for a lot less money. I think that bike's around 11,000 MSRP. So you're looking at something that's, you know, $7,000 or $8,000 less MSRP for a lot of bike. And there's no question that dollar for dollar, that bike is a way better value than this one is. The question is, you know, is this worth all the money extra it is? And again, I think it's harder to say. I think it depends on your situation. For me, this is my everyday, daily mode of transportation. It's also my main source of weekend entertainment. It's also a bike I take to the tracks. I take it in the canyons. I take it touring. So for me, it was a little bit better of an equation, but still, I could have said, okay, do I get this or do I get a, you know, Honda Civic car or something like that as my main form of transportation? But I needed something that did it all, and the safety features were really important to me. You know, even the ones that you don't get standard on those other, you know, like something like the FZ10. So for me, it's worth it. If you're a fucking bazillionaire and you don't give a shit about $20,000, then of course it's worth it, because you just want the best. And within the scope of vehicles, you know, of the world, when you compare something like this to like a Ferrari, you know, this is still obviously dollar for dollar better value than something like a Ferrari. But bikes are getting better, and bikes are getting more commoditized as cars have, and things that used to be only in, you know, luxury cars, safety features and things like that are now standard. I mean, you look at Toyota, and, you know, basically they're putting their TSS package, which is, you know, front collision automatic braking, front collision warning, rear cross traffic alert, backup camera, automatic pedestrian braking. All that shit is now standard in the Corollas of 2017. So I think bikes are going the same way, where things like traction control and ABS and even lean angle ABS and cruise control, you know, as we move into more electronically focused bikes, are going to be standard. So for right now, I think the XR is still kind of competitive, but I think kind of these Japanese brands are getting really close to the point where, you know, maybe it's not worth it anymore. And as soon as those guys come out with, they're getting close. As soon as they come out with something that's like this, we'll see when Yamaha comes out with their touring version of the FZ10, how it will compare to this. But my feeling is that when something like that comes out, it's going to be really hard to kind of justify the price of this bike anymore, and that it won't be worth it. But, you know, if you're not super duper loaded and you know, if you're not super loaded and this is kind of like your play bike, and it's, you know, it's any what of a thought, you know, of getting something like this, you know, I would say, okay, no, probably not. Just get the FZ10. But I mean, if you can either afford it, or if this is kind of like your multi-purpose main, you know, piece of transportation, then of course it's worth it, because it is undoubtedly safer than those, than the FC10. I mean, this beats it in terms of brakes, suspension, lean angle ABS, down blipper, which I would add to safety features because you don't need to think about shifting, so you can focus more on your riding. I mean, basically it beats that in every single way except for raw power. So yes, then of course it's worth it. I mean, if you're riding your bike constantly, you want to have the safest thing possible that you can brake quickly. But you know, if you're not, and if it's just a play thing for the weekend, yeah, man, save the $8,000 and get the FZ. So yeah, that's pretty much my take. I mean, it depends on your situation. But yeah, that's fucking fun. It depends on your situation, but you know, in general, I have to also say, like, those bikes just, even though the raw power is there, generally just don't feel as refined as this does. I've ridden a lot of different bikes recently. I'm going to try to take this Thruxton out for a review soon. But I mean, once you ride one of these, man, it's just on a different level. I mean, how smooth it is, and the power delivery, the suspension, it's just a whole different riding experience. And some people don't like that, by the way. Some people think these are too electronically controlled, too refined, and that what that ends up doing is kind of taking away from the character. So again, it's all about what your preferences are. But in general, my sense is that we're going towards kind of these really specialized BMW and Ducati and KTM, like super luxury features, are becoming commoditized. And soon every bike is going to have lean angle ABS, traction control, you know, maybe not electronic suspension, but all the main kind of safety features will be standard soon. And then it's going to be a lot hard to argue for these bikes. So anyway, I'm curious on what you guys think, those of you who maybe were thinking about this and went for a cheaper bike or whatever the case may be. Let me know what you think. And yeah, because I'm curious, but I love this bike. I mean, it's the greatest thing. It's my dream bike. It's the greatest thing I've ever owned. It's my, you know, favorite object I've ever owned in my life. So for me, the equation's a little bit simpler, but curious to see what you guys think, where you think the kind of bike industry is going, and how much longer these kind of, you know, premium bikes have when the Japanese guys are catching up so quickly. But yeah, if you have the money, man, just friggin' go get it, because it's absolutely ridiculous. And that's it. Oh yeah, let's see how many guys there are on this. Oh fuck, these fucking things don't see me. Ugh. The sensors don't see me, and so they don't actually turn the light green for me. So I guess in the end, it kind of comes down to how much are you willing to pay to have everything and to have the best of everything and to kind of have that ridiculous level of refinement, which in my opinion lets me focus more kind of on the road, and lets me focus on riding safely, because I don't need to worry about anything else. Nothing jars me about this bike or ever, like, you know, scares me or is unexpected about this bike. It's all just so silky smooth, and for me that's, you know, really worth a lot. So especially for everyday riding in LA, where I have to deal with so much utter bullshit and retardation on the road, it's just crucial for me. So that's it. That's my take it or leave it. But yeah, it depends on what your situation is and what matters to you. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I'll be curious to read that stuff. This is Bobo Jones saying, arrivederci, guys. Go buy yourself a nice XR. You deserve it. Later. Ride safe.